is on season 8, episode 30, where we watch BBQ High, and computer science is boring. I'm Chris Lorenz.
Most 17-year-olds don't know how to scramble eggs. This is Brian.
These are barbecue shoes. This is Noah Singer.
You should get a degree. This is Max.
Those are quotes from this week's show, but last week we watched The Influencer on Netflix, and we had a poll on Twitter, and we got a tie between top third and bottom third. Oh no, what shall we do?
I'm sure one of these influencers was just going and being positive about every of the influencer tweet.
They played it just like the competition. It doesn't matter whether you're good or bad.
Right.
Noah, what show do we watch this week?
In a journey across Texas, teens compete in regional BBQ competitions for a shot at the state championship and scholarships. They perfect dishes like dessert, beans, chicken, ribs, and brisket while navigating senior year and pivotal life decisions. That is BBQ High on Max or the Magnolia Network, if you have cable.
Magnolia. That's a cable channel?
I believe so.
I don't believe you.
No one believes it. No one. I haven't had cable in like 20 years, so.
Yeah. Also, Max, I feel like your name this week could have been like Sweet Baby Max. You know,
I was thinking Maxinade. I was thinking Max Yard reaction. But
that's a deep cut. Yeah.
Okay.
Max BQ.
Magnolia Network is owned by Warner Brothers and Discovery and Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Yes, all those I knew. All those I knew.
You knew it was owned by Chip and Joanna Gaines?
Yeah, their brand, like their like umbrella brand, is Magnolias. Like when they sell things at Target or Walmart, it's like Magnolia line. And
when they sell Magnolias, they had the Magnolias.
That would make sense. Yeah. Yes.
But this used to be a spin-off of HGTV called DIY Network.
Oh, it's DIY. Okay. All right. As you can tell, we don't really want to talk about this show, but
thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. So this is about a couple high schoolers, and they're at this barbecue club, and this club has like competitions. We get to see 3 clubs, and we'll probably go over them, whatever. We only get to really see like 2 people though, like their lives.
They focus a lot more on 2 people for sure.
Yeah.
There's Habibi, the Habibi, and then the big white kid.
Zane.
Zane.
We have Mark and Zane. So I think the kind of interesting thing is they've got a competition. So the competition includes dessert, chicken, ribs, brisket, and beans. And each team has like 5 people, and they have to bring one of each of those up, and then they're judged based on how good these things are. And then there's a winner and there's losers.
Yeah. I think it's cool that this is like about a real competition that exists. Kind of toes the line between reality and documentary.
For sure.
Yeah.
It feels very reality with all of the talking heads and like the drama they tend to focus on.
Yeah. They definitely like do recreations. Like there's a conversation between a kid and his parents where they're like, you shouldn't do barbecue. You should get a real job. And that's obviously a recreation. They're not talking with him for the first time about this.
Yeah. Discovery.
He does storm off. Though.
He does. Yeah. The way, so online, where like the home of this show is on discoveryplus.com. It's interesting there. Haven't switched that yet. But they put it under cooking competitions, food.
Okay.
Yep. I agree.
That's the genre.
No. I don't think it actually qualifies for like my definition of reality show, which is like the producers set up the show and this is like following real people doing what they would have done anyway, which
I agree.
Which would be more a documentary. So I would lean more toward documentary, but it is definitely edited and filmed more like a reality show. So
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
I have a weird question, a weird diatribe. Have you guys ever seen a movie where a bunch of people are like taking a test to become sommeliers?
No.
It's a really, really cool movie. It has the same vibe as this, where like
Is that
it's competitive.
Som?
Yeah, Som.
I don't think I watched, but I remember bookmarking it. Like,
I enjoyed it. Similar vibe to this.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go into, before we go into the rest of this, I think the biggest issue with this show is LOP. The like level of play of barbecue here is just like too uninteresting to me.
wait,
Like,
can we hold the phone on LOP? Like, is this like a thing? People know about this LOP?
I've never heard of an LOP.
Brian?
I've not know.
I've heard of an LMNOP.
I've heard of that one.
No, LOP
Heard of
level of play.
What
I
about
feel
an
like
SOP?
This might be more of a Harrison and James term. Like a
What is it
Destiny.
again?
I thought it was a Destiny term, but I guess I might have been wrong. Because
I don't play Destiny.
Brian played a lot of Destiny. So
Chris, what did you say it was?
LOP, your level of play.
Of play. So you're just saying like the stakes are too low.
Not the stakes are too low. It's just the level of like barbecue is like so low that it's like uninteresting.
Yeah,
I
like the idea
that for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like some of these kids must be okay.
It looked good to me. I'd eat it. I'd pay for it. Seemed pretty good.
I mean, I'm not saying they're making bad barbecue, but they're making like baby's first barbecue recipes and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like not interesting. And like whatever they're doing different or like, whatever else they're talking about, it doesn't feel as interesting as like a barbecue pitmasters where they like really talk about and go into all the fancy stuff they're doing. It could just be that they're not going too deep into it.
Like, what stands out? Because like I don't really know much about the barbecue. So it like what seemed amateurish about it?
What seemed amateur about it? I mean, it's just like the guy had one sauce and he was like, I hope this sauce is good. We talked about this goddamn sauce for so long. And it's just like not like what you would expect to hear from, I think, seasoned barbecue show with seasoned barbecue people. Like they wouldn't go, they would like the recipes would already be there. This guy's like not even like, I don't know.
But he's trying something new. Like he's trying to learn like how to do it, and
yeah, he's trying to learn how to do it. And I think I want to watch people that already know how to do it.
Okay, I think if they actually went into the thought process and everything, it'd be more interesting. Like somebody just coming out with like, oh, here's how I make my barbecue sauce. I've perfected over the years. Like, I don't care about that personally.
I can watch that. I can watch YouTube for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's where my head is at. You can have a different opinion.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Noah.
Like, I see what you're saying, Chris. I also think that's like just a different show. Like, I don't think they're trying to sell that in this show. Right?
I don't
it's
know,
like complaining about chips when you wanted pretzels. Like, yeah, sure.
It's like when the coach is like yelling on the side. It's like, you gotta square off that meat. Get that meat like this. Make it look like this. So it's like anyone that's done barbecue for more than like 3 times knows that like, okay, you got to put this amount of seasoning on it. Like it just feels like the tips they're getting is just like not. It like they make it seem interesting, and I'm just rolling my eyes that these people just have no idea what they're doing.
Gotcha. Maxinade, what you're thinking?
So, Chris, you say your main issue with the show is the level of play. My main issue with the show is nothing happens.
Well, All right, let's go through the people, and we can pretty much see that nothing happens. But I agree with you. So first, let's talk about Mark. He's in Arlington, Texas, at Dan Dippert School,
Yeah.
and his team is called the Smokin' Ferrets.
Yep.
Great name. Great names. Ferrets that smoke. I love it.
I believe that's correct because they kept showing Dan Dippert, and I was like, "What the fuck is?" I thought that was the team name, but then there's the team name comes up later, and you're like, and I'm very confused.
Chris, did your elementary school? No, did any of your schools have like people names?
Not obvious people names, but we did have like Strayer was one of my names, and I believe that was a real person, like his last
Okay.
name.
I had a
I would
couple.
suggest don't say what it is because that's your password. That's your secret password.
That's definitely my secret password. I use that all the time.
Hunter 2
Brian.
High School.
Brian, what was yours?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Brian, what's the last 4 digits of your social security number?
1705. There we go.
Hell
Feel my
yeah.
shit.
What's your? When were you born? What year? What's your mother's maiden name?
Peterson.
I'll ask you. I'll just give you my credit card. How about that?
Make sure you give me the 3 things on the back.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you need that.
So wait, you're really not going to say the name of the place you went to? Like, is this really security?
No. Like I
It's
remember
pretty-
like one being like Carl Sandburg. So like I think he was like a poet.
Carl Sandburg?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, poet.
All right. So we have Mark here. His specialty is barbecue ribs, which I had made. I actually smoked some ribs today.
Ooh, you smoke ribs?
I smoked some ribs. They didn't turn out great. I needed the tips from this show.
Did you square it off?
I didn't square it off. But when
Dude!
in the show, they're like they did the shot where they're like, this rib is what you buy from the store. It's bad. This rib is what you get at competition level. It's good rib. And my rib looked exactly like that bad rib.
Ooh.
Man.
Like, so
What
I'm
was
not
your
doing
LLP?
my LLP was very low. Lower than these guys, which is saying a lot.
But like, I don't know. Not that I've ever made ribs like from fresh. Like I've bought ribs that were marinated and I put them in hot area.
In the oven, yeah.
Yeah, but like I've never bought a rack and had to square it, like trim it. Like that just I don't know how to trim ribs. I'd like to see what it's got to do with you.
I'm just saying, like, no one wants to watch me barbecue. I'm not on TV barbecuing. That's like, I'm not saying you should watch me barbecue.
I think you could do though. You could definitely cosplay as a pit master.
I definitely have the right like voice, body for being a barbecue pit master.
You could easily get away with it. Like we just got to tell people, and then like behind the scenes, we're just like buying the pre-made stuff from Costco. And you just deliver to them.
At this point, I could be on worst barbecue in America, like the worst chefs in America. I'd be worst barbecue, and we could be like the worst driver in Canada, where you have to like level my play up till the end.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
All right.
Question for the group, for the crowd. I find barbecue to be like chocolate in a way where that like it's hard for me to find chocolate I don't like or ice cream I don't like. Like to me, like barbecue, like even like if it's not great, it's still pretty good. Do you guys kind of agree with this?
Disagree.
If it's not juicy, if it's not tender, I don't want it.
If it's I mean, like it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about like pulled pork, probably. I feel like the floor and ceiling of pulled pork, you could definitely get some really good and some average pulled pork. But like, if you're looking at like brisket, there's, the floor for that, like the floor and ceiling of that is pretty high, and you mostly get floor. I think brisket in my mind, like you don't really get good brisket all the time, even from good brisket places.
Like, what makes it bad? Is it dryness?
Yeah, it's just like dry. What you want is for it to melt in your mouth, and that tastes really good. But like, you could go to the best. I've been to like good brisket places, and like you kind of get a dry cut. And you're like, I wish I had that like fatty piece that just melts in your mouth. Yeah. So I disagree. I definitely think like chicken and like brats. Like brats kind of depend mostly on like the brat. Like you can definitely get mediocre brat versus like a really good brat. Like that's maybe chicken. You could also go the pulled pork route. I don't know, but I do think there's like overly dry chicken versus like a good cut of good like chicken is very different. So I disagree. But if you go to a barbecue place, like they're probably at like medium level barbecue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going out of our way to have bad barbecue.
Yeah. Like they're a store. They've like, you're not going to like backyard. You're not going to these guys' barbecue like fundraiser, which could be bad barbecue. You don't know. Right. Or like, I would say like barbecue at like, if you went to like the Gorge and they had like a barbecue food hut, like that could be bad barbecue.
I can see that. Okay. I see you.
All right, let's get back to this. Let's talk about Mark and his ribs. This is the one that we saw the most of what he's doing. Like we see him and his parents. We see him going to homecoming, which I thought was going to be a dance, but ended up being a football game. And I understand how that does make sense. There's always a homecoming football game. But if I would say, I'm going to homecoming, like in Spider-Man Homecoming, they went to a dance.
But no, right? the more confusing thing was that they put on the crochet course. No, what is it called? The
corsage.
Corsage. Thank you. Yeah,
Is there any other situation where people use the term corsage?
Prom.
Yeah, no, that's
not homecoming. No, homecoming's at the beginning.
No, I know. I'm just saying it's the same shit.
It is a high school dance for sure. Yeah.
No, but you're right. Corsage is like 7th grade to 12th grade. Like,
I just wonder it was so specific.
I'm not saying I don't think it is, but I can't think of another context where people get corsaged.
You think it would be bigger at weddings? Like a wedding feels to me like a prom in a lot of ways. Yeah. Not all the ways, but some of them. And you'd think that there would be more flower pinning on.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but no, these corsages are crazy. I've never seen something like this. It was like a Flava Flav clock, but a corsage.
I was going to say personal pan pizza, but Flava Flav clock I like a lot.
Yeah, it was
just like you're really dating yourself at that point. It's like you've grown up you're the ages of 34 and 41. Like, who the hell knows who Flavor Flav is?
I mean, it's even like an old reference for even that group, but like they spotted him on the Olympics a lot. Like he was with Snoop Dogg for a bit, and he got some news coverage because he bankrolled like one of the more esoteric like women's sport teams. Because they're like, yeah, we do this on the side, and we make like $18,000 a year, and it's like, oh Jesus. And so,
okay, all right, we got to talk about Mark now. Can we talk about Mark? Is that okay, Noah? His parents aren't very supportive. Even though he says they're very supportive, every time we see the parents, they're like, don't be trying new barbecue like recipes on me. I need you to go to college and get a real degree and not for culinary. And it's like he likes barbecuing. Like that seems like a respectable thing to get into when you're in Texas. You know,
I mean,
no,
they want their kid to be like a doctor, a lawyer, not a chef. Like, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but like, food work is hard. It's high likelihood of not being terribly well off, right? You're hard hours, hard to have a family. Like, they just don't want that for him.
as long as he gets a master's degree, is what the mom said.
Yeah, not in culinary. Masters of something else.
I mean, people are looking pretty good in the Bear. They seem like they got it all together.
Totally. That's what the Bear talks about, is how this life is like good balance, good mental health.
Yeah. The only other thing I have written down about this guy is that his alarm didn't go off.
7 alarms.
Yeah. So I feel like he just slept through all these alarms.
I mean,
He didn't.
I assume.
Yeah.
He pulled a Brian. Brian used to do this all the time.
I did this once.
No, I mean, you did it one time, though you missed a flight, but we don't need to get into that. You're the one that has a math program to turn your alarm off.
Oh yeah.
Wait, how fancy is this equation? Why do you need to?
I mean, it's got like addition, subtraction, multiplication. It's got some stuff in there to make you like start engaging your brain.
But like, oh, you have to do the math equation to turn it off. Oh, I see. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and it keeps going until I shut it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bothering everyone else in the house.
I got earphones for that now.
All right. So this is in Texas. He seemed like a pretty normal college guy. They're going to practices. They're practicing for the competition. We get to see some of that. And they actually do start the competition a bit at the end of this episode. And yeah, that's all I have about Mark.
Which was the kid who broke his leg?
So then we got Zane. He's from Mansfield, Texas. At the school Ben Barber, I'm guessing. Yeah. And then I didn't note down his team name. So I don't know what it is.
Wasn't it That's Barbecue?
I don't know. I didn't write down.
Yeah. He wasn't very engaging.
Yeah, he's a ribs expert. He broke his leg, and like when we see him at practice, like really struggling, and then as time goes on, he's getting better and better. So he must have recently broke his leg in that practice because, I said it was really painful, and he was standing and trying to do barbecue and 12-hour days. He was a clip of like it's a 12-hour day. Which they kept reusing.
Which I think is reasonable to like reassert. Like I do like how they made it really clear. This is physically taxing, which I kind of get, right? You have to wake up at 4 a.m. and cook until 6 p.m. It's
really taxing when you have to like keep a fire a certain temperature. With the pellet stoves you can get, which is what I have, you just put wood chips in there, and then you have these things that all keep it at the same temp, and you don't have to really do much of anything.
Do you have a flamethrower?
I don't have a flamethrower.
Ooh, that seemed fun. I liked when they were.
I should have bought that one from Elon Musk, which I don't know if they're technically called flamethrowers. They're
what are they called?
I don't know. They're like a torch or something. Like a flamethrower is what you see in like Vietnam, where they like, literally throw flame. Where like this is just a hot flame, right?
I see.
Like if you want to get like technical about it. He also had a belt buckle trophy that I thought was pretty funny. As like he's from Texas, belt buckle trophy.
Yeah, it's Texas.
Yeah. I also like that, I don't know if there's a national competition, but they're all about just state. which felt very Texas. It doesn't matter even if there is a national. This is just about state.
It's like, who cares about that Oklahoma barbecue? We only care about the Texas barbecue.
Yeah, like that'd be interesting. Imagine you had like all these high school, and you had like Texas versus Oklahoma versus Missouri versus North Carolina, South Carolina. Like,
I just think it would be too subjective on what the best barbecue is.
probably
Because like people in South Carolina, I don't know if they do brisket, but they might not. They could do, I don't know, they do something else. They do more pulled pork or something. They didn't do pulled pork in this competition,
clue.
right? They didn't do any brats. Like brats could be interesting, but that's like more of like your meat combo than it is like how you make them, right? Anyway, yeah, he seemed like a pretty normal kid. We got a lot more time with, I think, with the coach of this one. Is he the cop? I think that is also the coach for this team. I think I don't remember.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not important. Kind of boring. Then we get another high school, but not really a person at that high school, from Granbury, Texas. And their team name was Seriously Smokin'.
Seriously Smoking.
This was the team that went to the Cowboy Symposium for fundraising.
I can't believe these high schools are pro smoking.
Right?
Got you vaping. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can somebody tell me what a Cowboy Symposium is?
It's where a bunch of cowboys get together and talk about cancer. I don't know.
Hats and boots.
Hats and boots. Is there like a cowboy show at a Cowboy Symposium? Like, is that like another name for a cowboy show?
I don't know. This is also pretty new, so we got to do some digging on this.
Maybe they talk about the latest in cowboying. Like, I've only heard of symposium in like a science term. It's like research updates and people sharing their published papers. And maybe there's like a similar thing in the cowboy world. Like,
Well, why don't you look it up, Mr. Internet Corner?
Because I'm pulling up web pages right now to understand the etymology of barbecue.
That's not. No one cares about that.
I think that's fascinating.
People on this podcast and listeners care what a Cowboy Symposium is.
Let's see what we get on the cowboy. Oh, it's in Lubbock, Texas. Oh, it's a symposium and a celebration. That's how officially.
A celebration of what?
Ranching history, skills, and science.
So it's a show.
It's a conference.
Okay. All right. No one cares. We're moving on.
Yeah.
It's a conference. Like, I don't know what you want. It's a conference.
Max, what do you got for me?
I got nothing. Nothing happened in this fucking show.
I agree. The show's. I'm done with the show. I started to watch episode 2, just because I was like, didn't have anything better to do, and I couldn't make it more than 5 minutes into this thing. I was like, once again, you've got all this footage of people like cooking barbecue, but like the things you show me are like the coaching yelling at them. The coaches yelling at them, and not like them barbecuing or explaining their barbecue. Like, not like I don't know. It's just like not good.
I think that's what makes it more a reality show than documentary, in my opinion, because they're getting the interpersonal drama.
I would say the opposite. Like, I think it's like covering like all like the journey versus the competition piece of it.
Yeah.
It's definitely more about the journey to the state championship than it is about getting there and how they got there. It's like, in terms of like how their barbecue got them there, instead it's like, my parents don't want me to do this, but it's my love. And I'm going to describe it the same exact way. Like, not like, I love it. It's my passion. It's like, screw college. It's all I'm going to do. No, it's like, I love it. I think this is what I want to do. Like, I need better.
I originally thought we were going to have a better thing in episode 2, just because like episode 1 was all like about the people. And it's a common thing that we hit in doing our podcast. We pick one episode, and if it's just like the boring bits, unfortunately, you get dinged for that. But like you said, like there's just like nothing within like 5 minutes of the next episode.
It literally just continues that like competition, and it's just like edited so poorly that I'm like I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're doing well or not, and like I didn't even get to the end of the competition at that point, and I'm just like I just off, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you opened up a can of worms with this Cowboy Symposium thing.
Of course.
Two very fun facts. Actually,
How fun could they be?
2.5 fun facts. 2.5. So the National Cowboy Symposium and Celebration has a Facebook page. They list as their website cowboy.org. Fantastic.
Great.
Cowboy.org. So I'm like, wow, they secured that. No.
Yeah, that's cool.
No. Cowboy.org is parked free, courtesy of GoDaddy.com. So I don't know if they had it or not, but I just loved seeing that. It's only $120. Not that bad for Cowboy.
Wow, you could be the proud owner of Cowboy.org, Noah.
Man, that would be wonderful. But this is a sad note. The majority of Facebook posts on their page are about people dying, like just old people that have been here and have passed away. Pretty sad. But one of their posts from last year, actually from 2022, is about the Lodge Museum of Cast Iron. There is a museum all dedicated to cast iron pans in Tennessee. That is the whole museum. Different cast iron pans. And it seems like there's a subculture of different logos and artwork on the bottom of the pan. And that's like a whole thing.
Okay.
I love cast iron. I cannot imagine going to a museum to like look at this, or like I don't understand the logo thing even. What the hell?
Yeah, so imagine like the bottom of the pan. It's like a collector thing, I guess, but like people draw like guitars or like the Grateful Dead sign, or it's just a canvas right at that point.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are museums all across the world dedicated to weird shit. Pans doesn't even register for me.
Cast iron pan. This is.
I think the bigger question here is how is the Cowboy Symposium in Texas advertising for some place in Kentucky?
Tennessee.
Like, that's pretty far. Or Tennessee, that's still pretty far.
Yeah, they don't. They just
did the Cowboy Symposium, does it move every year?
No.
And does this high school go every year?
So for some reason, this is 2 years ago, almost to the date 2 years ago. They just happened to share like a Facebook reel from this museum page because I guess Cowboys use cast iron, right? There's no context.
Okay. All right. We got to get to questions. Although, wait, I do have one thing to talk about before questions. Dessert. How does dessert scoring work here? Like, desserts feel so subjective to me. Like, there's so many different kinds of desserts. Like,
there's probably there's probably a set of like 20 you can pick from.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
You know,
I think this is where the floor and the ceiling gets very wide in this competition.
The dessert?
Totally. Right? Because you have some teams that are probably like, they have basically what's like a patisserie protege coming in, and they're about to knock people's socks off.
A what protege?
Patisserie. Isn't that what it's called? A patisserie?
Somebody who makes a lot of pastries. I think so.
I have no idea. Never heard of a patisserie before.
That's the name of the shop.
It's like a bakery. The one who does it, some French version of
Patissiere. Anyway, I was close. Unclear if I'm right. Probably saying it very wrong. Either way. But anyway, if they have someone like really into desserts, they're probably crushing it.
But here's the thing. I can't imagine putting more than like 10% of the weight of your scoring on that. Like it's gotta be like 70% like the main course, 20% sides, 10% dessert.
It's just like, are you bringing a key lime pie? Are you bringing Jello with fruit in it? Like, are you like what are you bringing? Like, what's going on here? You bring a cookie? You bring in, dirt or whatever that thing's called. Like, bring a s'more in? Like, what the fuck is it? There's so many options for dessert.
I don't know. Again, floor and ceiling. Like you get some microbiologies, some not microbiology, the macro gastronomy, whatever it is. But like you take a s'more, right, and you put it like into little things and make a bubble out of it or some shit. Like,
okay, all right. Worst human being, go.
Mark's parents.
Oh, I agree. Mark's parents are the worst.
hmm.
Let the kid follow his dreams.
You should encourage your kid.
The doctor that can't fix Zane's leg faster.
Boo.
Yeah, jam a metal rod in there. Let's go.
Exactly.
He's got an important game to be at.
Yeah. Just pop him with pills.
If he was on that football team, he'd be better.
Man, I wonder what Zane's doing now. Oh, Zane.
All right, let's do some drinking rules. Brian, you have a drinking rule for me?
Yeah, anytime you hear like a different meat, like rib, brisket, something like that, take a drink.
A different meat, or whenever you hear those like three meats, because you can hear them a lot.
I was trying to limit it so I don't kill our listeners, but if we want to go hard mode, just whenever you hear it.
There you go. Noah, what do you got for me?
Take what is it called? A sip of your vape pen. What do you call it? A puff? An inhale?
A puff. What do they call it nowadays? What are the kids calling it? A puff.
The thing is, kids don't drink anymore. People just don't drink alcohol. They all just like do other things. And so
play your favorite first-person shooter without a gun.
Yeah,
that's your punishment.
So I'm assuming they still do something, but so vape pen. I'm guessing. I don't know. So yeah, take a hit of your vape pen every time they talk about seasoning.
There was like that Puff the Magic Dragon is like 70 years old now at this point. Which is euphemism for smoking weed. So
yeah.
Max, what do you got for me?
Take a nice sip of barbecue sauce every time something occurs in this show.
Are you trying to kill our listeners?
No, I'm not. Some sort of plot point, something that moves along.
Oh, I thought you meant like,
if anything, it's not going to come into play too much.
I thought like when you said something like he goes to homecoming.
No. Like something of consequence.
Let's see. You definitely, Brian, I think you got to go hard mode on this one. I think you got to take a drink every time they mention the meat.
All right. And also thinking about it, why don't you take a puff of your vape every time they say smoke?
Oh, that's good. I like that one.
That's a better rule. Much better.
Yeah. Trying to think of a rule at this point. I don't have one.
Pop an ibuprofen every time someone talks about their body hurting.
Yeah, and finish your drink when his leg is healed. Like at the end of the season, like, yeah, I'm back. Let's go to the States.
Let's go. Fired up, ready to go. I'm surprised they don't use that like line when they're going in. Fired up, ready to go.
All right. Let's do our favorite question now. Max. Let's do what speed did Max watch the show at? And it's on Max, and his girlfriend isn't here. So I'm definitely going to go with 2x. Noah, what do you got for me?
I think 2x feels fast. So I'm going to go 1.5, but I think you're right. 1.5.
Brian, what do you got?
I think his Netflix situation is still broken from the other time, and I think he watched it at 1x because he couldn't find it. Oh, it's Max. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
For the record.
I was just going to let him live or die on his guess.
That'd have been good. Thank you for saving me. So Noah said 1.5.
Yep.
And I said 2.
I'll do 1.75.
2.6.
Holy shit!
Damn.
I win.
This show
Yeah.
crawls. Nothing
Damn.
happens. I
Whoa.
needed captions, but you know
I-
what? I stand
if I
by.
were
it.
you,
You
Brian,
guys
I will-
wish you watched the show at 2.6x.
Man,
Kinda.
2.6x. Oh my god.
I don't need to hear chipmunks in shows.
Yeah.
No, it's not pitched up. It's just quicker.
But really, it doesn't.
I thought that's what happens when you sped it up.
Yeah.
Try it out. Try it out on YouTube. They fixed
Damn.
it.
All right. All right.
Wow.
Would the show be better as a Quibi or TikTok?
Yes. Anything that's shorter than it is.
Yeah. Wow.
I just
Yeah.
I just don't know what a good version of this show is. Mac, I might agree with Max just because it's over quicker, but like, is that necessarily a better show? Like, I'm just gonna like not watch it anyway.
I mean, I think it'd be interesting because, like, if you gave these kids phones to do the TikTok, like that'd be kind of interesting, you know? Like, 'cause obviously they know how to use the TikTok.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Some of them don't know how to make eggs. It feels like
Not these kids though. These kids are master chefs.
master chefs.
Yeah.
Brian, what do you think?
You know, I don't think it'd be better as a Quibi, only because like it's so like jumping around anyway that I just think it's gonna like be like, what the hell is going on here? Like I think it's gonna make it worse if it's shorter form. You'd have to actually change everything around to make it better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of which, what do you love about the show, Brian?
I like that there's a focus on like high school competition for barbecue. Like I think high school competitions are loved by like a lot of this country, and there's maybe not enough focus on like the good stuff for that. So I think that highlighting it in a show wins in my book.
Max, what do you love about this show?
It's limited, but the food porn in it, pretty good. It's good looking ribs or whatever.
Noah, what do you love about this show?
I think it was cool getting look into these kids' lives. Like, I don't know how high school kids be, and also like these kids seem pretty impressive. So I like that.
I like the Texasisms that happen in the show. They're pretty fun. Like Okie Dokie and what was it? Like HBBQ. Like there's just some fun Texasisms that I liked.
Yeah.
Now let's get into our favorite question, and that's ratings.
Would you like to phrase that as a question, Chris?
Do you think the show is top third, middle third, or bottom third? And you stack rank them between other reality shows. Max, what's your rating this week?
I don't want to go first.
Okay, fine. You don't have to go first. I'll go first.
Okay.
And I'll put this in the bottom third. It was no good. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Noah, what do you got for me?
I didn't hate this show as much as you guys did. I found it somewhat enjoyable. Like, it's definitely background content to the 2.6 reference. But I don't know. I like the story it's starting to build. So yeah, I don't think it's that bad. I'm gonna put it solid middle. I think compared to what Roger, it's just a solid middle contender.
Brian, what do you got for me?
I'm torn. I feel a little bit like you and Max, where it's very slow and doesn't like cover a lot of reality aspects, but it's largely inoffensive and it covers something interesting. Tries to do more in the barbecue area, and the food porn is good. I'll put it at the bottom of the middle. I may not check out more, but I'm Maybe I'll check out episode 2 to see if it actually like gets like fully into the competition for the whole episode.
Max, what do you got for me?
Bottom third easily. Nothing happens. I was really bored. I watched it at 2.6x. Bottom of the bottom.
Oh,
Maybe these kids should get a fucking degree because I'm bored of them.
Damn.
there
Don't
you
eat
go.
the delicious barbecue.
There you have it. Tell us what you thought of the show on X at Who Put This On.
X at us on X at x.com.
No, I was doing the Degeneration X thing, and that's why I was laughing. Noah, any shout outs this week?
Someone else go first. I forgot what I was going to do.
Oh man, that was really loud. Just to let you know.
Oh,
That was Noah hitting his desk.
I slammed my
That's not bad.
pen on the desk because I was like, Then,
Your vape pen?
you could try to smoke this, but it's ink.
For
Brian,
those of us at home, it's a pen.
Brian, do you have any shout outs?
I'm kind of catching up on like older TV right now. So I watched like the first half of the newest Cobra Kai season. I'm kind of burnt out on it. I was initially like throughout like the first few seasons, it was kind of exciting. It was like doing good throwbacks and it was just silly, like whatever fun. But this season, like, I don't think there's much, and you don't even like really like. It's not the same as the other ones. Like I can see that they just want to be done with it. So I may not watch the second half.
Well, I think there's 3 parts, Brian. So
Are there 3 parts?
I
Dude,
think
they,
there's 3 parts.
they gave like 5 episodes. They're gonna do another 5 episodes in November, and then something else. What is
I
Netflix
think
doing?
so. I'm not sure though. But you know what your problem with that show is? The show started out as like this guy. He was down on his luck. He's gonna like mentor this kid, and he's gonna be all better. Like that's the show, and then it's over.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a Karate Kid. Let's take every plot point from these 3 movies, which 2 of them, or at least one of them, is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
Ooh.
And like it's like take every plot point from those movies and like include them in this modern show and include like 18 kids that are now 30 and have them do karate tournaments and like there's the parents doing karate tournaments. It's like no one cares about the karate. We just cared about this guy down on his luck like growing up. And like that's not the show anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot less focus on him. Although he throughout the season is still growing and stuff, but then so is everybody else in the show. I don't know. You're right. It's less focus on that, and maybe that's why I'm not liking the later seasons as much.
You mean the believability of the super karate guy trying to take over the world? He has bad karate, like we have to take out his bad karate, like just that's the plot. It's like he's trying to take over the world with his bad karate. So now we have to take the good karate to defeat the bad karate.
I like that stupid stuff though. It's just fun.
It's just stupid. But that's been the plot for like 4 seasons.
Yeah, and I think this season now it's like some super competition and stuff, and yeah, I don't care about that as much.
Well, yeah. Max, you got any shout outs?
I started reading a series called, what is it called? The Sun Eater. The book 1 is whatever, but everybody says book 2 and 3 are good. So not a recommendation, just an update.
Thanks, Max. Keep it
I
updated.
saw Alien Romulus. It was adequate, and
It's
maybe
a-
they'll
it's an
finally
alien
make
movie.
maybe they'll finally make Prometheus 3.
You bring up a good point because I think Alien Romulus is good, but like it doesn't bring up like the fun, what I thought was good, like questions of Prometheus and Alien Covenant.
It doesn't
Or it's-
really expand the lore that much.
I don't even need to expand the lore. I like want more like the first movie-
Existential.
yeah. The first movie is clearly about like pregnancy and how do you deal with being a strong woman and pregnant. And then like, you know, I don't know. The second one's a lot of Vietnam allegory, but I like with the Prometheus route where they're like, what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to have life? Who gives you life? I thought that was a really cool question. And like, they could definitely bring up like, this movie has a little bit of like AI versus like human stuff. And I would really like them to dig more into that. So,
I mean, every movie has its own interesting take on the synths, I feel.
yeah. So my shout out this week is Taskmaster New Zealand. It's back. It's pretty good. I like it. And Rings of Power comes back soon. So I've been rewatching season 1 and I like it. Not quite as good as House of the Dragon, but like it's very different. It's moving. Hopefully season 2 moves more than House of the Dragon season 2 did. Like it feels like there's more of a sprawling story to tell, and not just like a family quarrel, which is I think the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Noah, you have any shout outs?
Yeah. So not a new show, but relatively new. It's called Presumed Innocent on Apple TV. All the episodes are out. It is quite enjoyable. Good show. Go watch it.
There you have it. For us this week, you can find us on X at Hoop of the Song. You can find us on Facebook.com/Hoop of the Song. You can give us suggestions at hoopofthesong@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next time.